Hello, my friends, hello, and welcome once again to Stately Vaughan Manor, where today I'm doing a tag. I'm doing the Stephen King book tag. This was created by Jake at the Bookish Drummer. That's a good channel. You should watch that channel because it's so good. And I was tagged by my good friend AJ Dunn Reads and Writes. AJ Dunn and I are both reading every book by Stephen King, so it is appropriate that we both do this tag. Let's see, and this has 16 questions. So let's just get into this Stephen King tag and see how it goes. Okay, question number 1. Name your favorite Stephen King book, or what Stephen King book you want to start with. I will name my favorite Stephen King book. It is this book, Pet Sematary. Pet Sematary is still my favorite Stephen King book. Out of all the Stephen King books I've read, I think this is the best. I think this could be the greatest horror novel ever written. I think it's a fantastic horror novel. Just brilliant. It succeeds on every level as a horror novel. So I love it. Pet Sematary by Stephen King. I suppose it's possible that as I read through Stephen King's books, I will find a book that I like more than this. I think it's unlikely, though. But yeah, this is my favorite Stephen King book. Pet Sematary, that was easy. Number 2, Nightmares and Dreamscapes. Name a book that gave you nightmares or kept you up late at night. There actually was, well, it was a story. There was a short story that gave me nightmares. Or a nightmare, and you could find it in this book, The Call of Cthulhu and Other Weird Stories, or any really good Lovecraft collection you could find it in. It's a story called The Shadow over Innsmouth. And I had a dream that I went to a hotel, and the hotel ended up being the Gilman House, and so which is in the story. If you've read the story, you know what happened in my dream. Basically, what happened in my dream is exactly what happened in this story. From the point I arrived at the hotel, the Gilman House. It was a very strange dream because it seemed very real. And so I pretty much lived the Shadow over Innsmouth in my dream. And it was awesome, you know, as you would think it would be. So yeah, The Shadow over Innsmouth by H.P. Lovecraft. I guess that shouldn't be a surprise. That gave me a nightmare. Okay, 3, Joyland. Name a book that made you happy. Well, that's easy. I'm always showing this book. This is City by Clifford D. Simak, my favorite science fiction novel of all time, my favorite science fiction book of all time. And this book makes me happy. Every time I read it, I'm happy. It's great. City by Clifford D. Simak. It makes me happy. Robots, dogs, you know, what more do you want in life? So there's that. Let's see. Misery. Name a book that made you sad. There's a book that made me sad. It is this book, Saga, by the wonderfully named Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. The large comic book or graphic novel if you want to be fancy, but there's tragic things that happen at the end of this. This is the first 50 issues, and then they took a hiatus, which they haven't started back up again yet, I don't think. But at the end of this book, this is the compendium. Sad things happen, and it made me very sad. It's not the first time Brian K. Vaughan has made me sad with his stories. So yeah, that was Misery. Number 5, Cujo. Name your favorite animal companion. That's easy. It's Woola from A Princess of Mars and the other Mars novels. John Carter's alien monster dog. I mean, Woola is an alien and a monster, but, you know, still a dog. Kind of. I love Woola. Okay, so that was easy. Number 6. Dr. Sleep. Name a book that bored you to death or made you fall asleep. Well, It didn't make me fall asleep. I didn't have that release. I wish it did. But it did bore me to death, almost, I'm pretty sure. And that is this terrible book, The Bridges of Madison County. The Bridges of Madison County. It's not long, but it is 201 pages of suffering. The Bridges of Madison County. If only I could have slept through this book. But no, I had to start reading it, and once I start reading a book, I have to finish it. So I had to read this whole dumb book about bridges. So, yeah, this book. 7, Eyes of the Dragon. Name your favorite book series with dragons in it. I hate to give the exact same answer that AJ Dunn did in AJ's tag, but I am going to go with the exact same answer, which is The Hobbit. I mean, I think dragon, I think this book, The Hobbit. Yeah, my favorite book with a dragon in it. It's one of my favorite books. The Hobbit is fantastic. This is my beat-up copy of The Hobbit. I probably should have pulled off from the shelf my really nice copy of The Hobbit, but, you know, this is the one I'm always reading when I read it. So that was that. That was my dragon answer. Number 8, 4 Past Midnight. Name a book you stayed up way too late trying to finish. Well, I stayed up late to finish it. And that would be this book, The Woman in Black by Susan Hill. I got to halfway through this book and I just had to finish it. So I just laid in bed and read the whole book pretty much, because this is a ghost story. I'm going to do a review of this book because it's an excellent book. It's really, really good. The Woman in Black, Susan Hill. I had to finish it. Yeah. That was the one. Okay. Let's see. That was 4 Past Midnight. Number 9, End of Watch. Name your favorite last book in a series. You know, I thought about this. Last books in series don't tend to be as good as some of the previous books in the series. I'm going to go with kind of a cheat, because this is either the last book in a series or just the end of a book, depending how you look at it. But it has to be this one, right? The Return of the King, the grand finale of The Lord of the Rings, and The Hobbit, I guess. Yeah, it has to be it has to be The Return of the King from The Lord of the Rings. Unless you just consider it all one book and then it's just the end of a book. But I'm going to go with this answer because it's all I can come up with right now. Okay, number 10, The Outsider. Name your most unpopular opinion that makes you feel like an outsider. I don't know if this is a really unpopular opinion, but every time I've ever heard anybody talk about this book, they talk about what a staggering work of genius it is and how it's so brilliant and all of that. And I'm just reading this going, so, you know, maybe it's just me, you know? It probably is. This is probably a staggering work of genius, The Wasteland. But I don't know. It wasn't for me, I guess. You can all tell me how wrong I am. I get that a lot, so that's all right. Let's see. That was The Outsider. 11, Rage. Name a book you rage quit or DNF'd. I don't DNF books, so I don't have an answer for that. Because if I start a book, I finish the book. Even if it's, you know, 1,000 pages of suffering, I will finish the book because I'm just weird. Number 12, Different Seasons. Name your favorite seasonal book. I've got nothing. I don't even know what a seasonal book is. A Christmas Carol, I guess. That's literally the only seasonal book I can even think of, which I've got up there. I guess A Christmas Carol. I guess. 13, Finders Keepers. Name your most prized, rare, or expensive book. I'm not sure it's my most prized or rare, but this one does. You can get a lot of money for this book. This is Algernon Blackwood. This is the Centipede Press Library of Weird Fiction, the Algernon Blackwood volume. There are volumes in this series from Centipede Press on H.P. Lovecraft, on a bunch of different writers, Edgar Allan Poe. But this one seems to be the one that is the most expensive, I guess, because this one, I've seen it go anywhere from $900 up to about $1,200. And I nearly sold it. But how can I sell it? I mean, just look at this guy. And I think one of the reasons it commands such high prices is that it's a really nice collectible book. And there aren't many really nice copies of Algernon Blackwood in hardcover. I'm sure you can get print-on-demand stuff. But this is a really nice book, actually. I mean, it's really nice. Edited by S.T. Joshi, part of the Centipede Press Library of Weird Fiction series. And I really like it. I like this book a lot, so I couldn't part with it, even at a high price. But it's probably the most expensive book I've got, or the book that commands the highest price, at least the last time I checked. Let's see. Number 14, later. Name a book you keep putting off and telling yourself you'll get to later. There are many books like that for me. I've got a whole box of them over there. But the one I'm thinking of is probably this one. This is Demon in White. It's The Sun Eater, Book 3 by Christopher Rocchio. I liked the first two books, and the second book was better than the first book. So this book is probably great, and it is a mammoth. So it's, I should read it this year because I want to read some big books this year. So I should make one of them a Demon in White, actually, because I've been putting this off since I bought it. And I'm not even sure why. I'm not sure why. I should get to this. I should get to that book. Okay, Desperation. Name a new release that you're desperate to get your hands on. Well, first of all, I'm not going to be buying any new releases for a while. And I can't think of any, to tell you the truth. I don't know if you've noticed, but I read a lot of old books. And so it's not like I'm just at the edge of my seat to get anything new. I can't think of anything new that I just have to get to, like right away. Yeah, so I'm empty. I've come up empty on that. Which brings me to, I guess I'm not that desperation for the desperation question. I'm not that desperate. Desperate. Number 16, tag your fellow constant readers. Okay, I will tag some fellow constant readers. I will tag not just book reviews. I tag you not just book reviews. And I tag Cozy Reading for Quaker Cats. Cozy Reading for Quaker Cats. This is a tag for Cozy Reader, I think. I think this is a tag for her. And this tag is pretty much made for Coffee Cats and King. Coffee Cats and King, great channel. Doesn't do a lot of tags though. Coffee Cats and King, not many tags on that channel, but I think this is definitely the tag to do if you're Coffee Cats and King. So yeah, I tag you, Coffee Cats and King. So there you go. Those are my tags. That is my Stephen King book tag. Hope you enjoyed it. I will catch you here at Stately Vaughan Manor. Hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully I'll see you back here. Okay, guys. Bye.